I had no idea what really happened that night or how we wound up in a town called Town, but all I know is that everything that was going on in town was far more dangerous and sketchy than anyone will ever tell you. Hey guys and gals, please like and subscribe if you like scary stories because that is all we tell on my channel. And now let's get into the story. So it was the summer of 2011, and me and my friend Cody, we were gonna go to Cody's parents' house. They had a cabin up in the woods by Duluth in Wisconsin, and we were gonna go there and we were gonna have the time of our lives. It was fishing, camping, all that fun outdoor stuff. And we were ready. Except Cody was reading the maps, and for some reason, we got lost on our way there. I'm driving my 2009 Honda Civic, mind you, so we had good gas mileage. So we go up this hill and something starts happening with our electronics. Cody looks at me and he's like, I think something happened. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, our GPS is saying we're in Puerto Rico. And I'm like, no way. Puerto Rico, are you serious? So I pull up and stop at the top of this hill. And sure enough, our GPS is saying that we're in Puerto Rico. So I'm like, no way. So we keep driving and we go 1 mile farther down the road and we see a sign that says Doveland, Wisconsin. And so we're like, okay, finally we've made it somewhere. I'm not taking any chances at this point. Electronics are messing up. It's saying we're in Puerto Rico. I decided that we should stop and get gas while we're here. So there was a paved road coming into Doveland and going out of Doveland. But then there was another road that was leading kind of up over this mountain ridge, and then it was kind of going down, and looked like it was pretty steep, but we didn't really think anything of it. And so I go in to get the gas, and I'm talking to the lady behind the counter, and I ask her, I said, "Hey," and she kind of has like this kind of like fake smile, like you can tell when someone's not being like genuine. And so I kind of asked her like for directions. I was like, "Hey, we're lost." I was like, "Do you know where how to get to Duluth from here?" And she kind of looks at me. She's like, "Duluth." She's like, "Yeah, it's just right up that mountain." And she points and grins and just points at the mountain with the only dirt road going out of town. Mind you, there was only like two ways in that were paved, and then just that T going out. It was a very odd situated town. I look at her and I didn't want to be rude, but she was acting kind of strange, just her demeanor. So I was like, thanks. And I started to get my stuff. And then she kind of grins and she says, I won't be seeing you again. And it was a very odd thing for her to say. But just the way she said it. And I kind of look at her and I'm like, excuse me? And then she just kind of like says goodbye and starts acting normal again and pretends like she never said what she just said. So I finish paying for the gas, and Cody is getting some snacks and stuff. And then he comes back in the cars, and he's like, "Jinkers, mate." And anyways, we start discussing. Like he said, "Do you ask her for directions on how to get out of here?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro. We just gotta go over that hill right there." And he just looks at it, and he's like, "I think we can make that." And I was like, "Yeah, but okay." So we sit there and we start driving, and so we make the turn, and we start going up the hill, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. Originally, looking from a distance, it looked a lot steeper than it was, but it was actually a more gradual incline. It was just a really long, long way up, and it went up for a long, long ways, but it was a gradual incline, so that made me feel a lot better. But once we got to the other side, our GPS it completely went off. Like it went from saying that we're in Puerto Rico to saying that we're in nowhere. Like it was wild. And Cody was like, "What the heck is going on?" And I was like, "Cody, I think it's something to do with whatever is under the rocks. There's like because there's some like magnetic stone in certain like caverns and stuff that can affect electronics." And that was a good enough excuse for us at the time. So we are driving, snacking on chips and stuffing our faces with chips, and we are driving, and it was like maybe 10-15 minutes. And we come into this group of trees that are just like on the road that how they kind of the trees lean in. It was like one of those, and we are going through these trees, and they look kind of eerie to us, and then they begin to clear out, and Right at the end of the where the trees start to thin out, there is a sign that says, "Welcome to town." So we have come to a town called Town. And Cody kind of makes a joke about it. He's kind of like, we're trying to stay lighthearted about the whole situation. And he's like, oh, look, a town called Town. That's funny. I immediately got a black pit in my stomach, like something was wrong. And I felt like I was going to throw up. I didn't know what was going on, but I felt like we needed to get out of here. Something about this town felt so odd to me, and I couldn't put my thumb on it right off the bat. But I know one thing, I really wanted to get out of there. And so this town had a lot of kind of like old-timey buildings in it, but it was set up like towns are nowadays. Like the buildings were like set back in the day, but the way the town was built was like a modern development. It was really an odd way that this town was situated, and it kept getting odder the more I kept thinking about everything that I was seeing. I drove to the edge of town and I was going to go through it, and we went through a patch of woods. I thought I was leaving the town called Town, and then I came to a rock wall. I couldn't go anywhere. It was a straight up abrupt wall that almost came out of nowhere, and if I didn't see it in time I would have hit it. So I had to stop and then back up all the way into town before I could turn my car around and go back the way we came. But then I go all the way to the other end of town, and there's only two ways. There's one main road, and then there's like two other side roads, but there's no other roads leading out of town. So I'm going back the way we came because that's the only way to go. And as I'm going and I go through the cluster of trees, I come to another rock face wall. So we go back into town. We pass the sign again that says, "Welcome to town." Population doesn't have a population. And so every building is the same except for two buildings in town. One is the diner on this side, and it's got a few cars parked in it, and the other is a bar. And now the diner has this really creepy Jeepers Creepers vehicle parked there. And so we did not want to go into the diner. We got really creepy vibes. But the bar seemed perfectly fine, and there was a few normal looking cars there. But still, this is a creepy town, and all of the other buildings look exactly the same. Besides these two buildings, which are situated right across from each other and are eerily lit up. So we enter the bar, and everybody's facing their backs to us, and they don't even flinch at all. They're just off in their own little worlds, minding their own business. And that kind of makes us feel better. And the bartender, he's polishing a glass that stays foggy, and he says out loud to us, "The exit is a price. It is not a direction." So he just told us basically exactly what we wanted to know, but we didn't have enough to go off of, so we needed more answers. So we sit down at the bar because we're going to get more answers out of the bartender if we have to be there all night, because it's not like we're going anywhere. We are stuck here. Then the bartender looks at us and he pours us both a drink and he says, "If you guys want to leave, you got to pay the price." So Cody, thinking that I took the wrong turn or something, Cody blurts out, "We just want directions." And the bartender looks at him and says, "Directions are easy. It's the distance that kills you." Ha ha ha. Then the bartender proceeds to pour a little miniature car copy into Cody's drink, and there's two little figures in it that look just like me and Cody. And Cody's like, "Oh my god." He turns over and looks at me. He's like, "That is us." And I'm already freaked out. But I'm trying to keep my composure and keep my cool because we have to survive this. This is not going to be the end. Cody is not convinced. He thinks this is some elaborate prank by maybe the government or something. And so we storm out of there. We're kind of like already on edge, and we're just like, we're going to find our way out of here. Maybe I did take a wrong turn. But when we get back to the car and I start to turn it, everything changes. Everything in front of us is like an entire rock wall. The whole town morphs, but when I look into the mirror, I see the bar. And then it's like there's two people sitting in the bar, and it's me and Cody in our mirror, and we're seeing ourselves in the bar while we're looking in the mirror from the car. And so I was like, I'd look at Cody and I was like, we're not going to be able to leave. We got to pay the price. So we walk back into the bar. this time, all the patrons are facing us, and they are there's 2 by 2 in each one of the seats. There are 2 people sitting beside each other in each booth all along, and they're all facing us. And they all have stitched together faces, like somebody stitched them together, and one of them looks like me, and the other one looks like my friend Cody. And they all speak in unison this time. Stay till the glass is clear, and then you can go. And the bar stool awaits, and it has the words engraved, "For whoever leaves last." And me and Cody kind of look at each other, and Cody's like, he's like, "Man, I don't want to do this anymore." He's like, I'm really getting scared now. And I'm like, "Hey, well, just whatever the price is, we'll pay it, and then we'll get out of here." And I've never seen my friend Cody like that before. He's usually upbeat, cheerful, and like a commando most of the time. He's ready to push through anything. But this situation had us both terrified. We were clueless as to what's going on and if we were even going to survive the next 5 minutes. Then the bartender pours 2 shots in front of me and Cody, and they both spin around and keep spinning in the glass for some reason, and it smells like winter steam. Then the bartender says, "One of you drinks, the other drives. The driver forgets everything. Whoever drinks remembers everything. But choose quick, the wolves are getting hungry." And then Cody looks at me and he says, "I'll remember for the both of us. You drive." And he downs the shot before I can even do anything. And I'm like, "Cody, no!" And then I'm back driving the car again. And Cody's right beside me, and we're looking at the GPS. Then the GPS says continue 127 miles to Duluth. And then I look over to Cody and I was like, "Cody, are you okay?" Cody just looks at me smiling the same smile that woman had that gave us the wrong directions. And he sits there and says, "We never left Duluth. We never left. You just haven't arrived yet." So I'm looking in the mirror and I see a ghostly, looks like an image of the woman from the gas station earlier that gave us the bad directions. And she begins to whisper and she says this: "Every town you drive through from now on will have one street too many. And one day you'll take it, that road, and we will be waiting." The odometer starts to roll backwards on my Honda Civic. I look over at Cody and I notice that he starts to flatten. Everything about him, he starts to disappear until it flattens completely and the clothes just lay flat in the seat. And I yell, "Cody!" And then the GPS chimes in and it says in Cody's voice, "In 1/10 of a mile, you'll be arriving at your destination. Yourself. Keep left." I awaken in cold sweats and I'm laying in bed screaming. And Cody comes in there and is like, "Hey, bro, chill out, bro. What's going on?" I look at Cody dead face and I ask him, I said, "Where are we?" "We're in Duluth. Don't you remember? We're here for our trip." Cody responded to me. And I tried to tell him I have no clue to this day how I arrived in Duluth. But Cody swears that we drove there and that we made it there safe and sound. But me, I have no recollection. And I almost forgot that memory even existed, except one day I was going through my phone and I found a picture where I had taken of a town called Town. And that memory still haunts me to this day. I really hope you enjoyed that story. And if you like scary stories, please like and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.